What is going on, beautiful brothers? This is David Lyon, founder of Evolving Man. And in this video, I want to talk about the anger dilemma. And I want to talk about it because I've noticed that anger has gained popularity these days, which is great. People understand better that in order to have healthy relationships, in order to be able to clearly say yes to something and no to something, we need to be able to access this energy of anger. This is who I am, this is what's okay for me, this is not what's not okay for me. But there's a nuance that I don't see being talked about, and I think it's important to understand that, because otherwise you can easily fall into judgment of why is it so challenging for me to express my anger, and also for you to understand that actually for you to integrate your anger, it takes two people. It doesn't take just you, it also takes a supportive person to practice it with. And here's why. So we need anger, as I said, to maintain boundaries, to be clear in what we want and what we don't want. The challenge is that we all experienced to some degree, especially as children, that when I express my anger, when I go full on, like I don't like this, I don't want this, I want it to be different, that we're not always met with presence and compassion, but sometimes our caretakers turned away because probably they weren't able to handle the energy themselves, and that's their history, right? This is not about blaming our caretakers. It's just to understand that to some degree, we all carry this experience of I express my anger and I'm actually being left alone. And this is where anger becomes misunderstood. Anger is not, I don't want to be in relationship with you. Anger is not, no, go away, I don't like you. It can be in certain situations, but the thing is, I want our relationship to continue. I don't want you to just go away when I'm angry. So there is a deep vulnerability that comes up when I express my anger, which is take a step back. This was whatever, this was too much, or I don't like this, but stay with me. Don't go away. And you see now there's a pull in two directions. Like one is this and the other is but stay. And when you express your anger and it is not being met, someone is not able to hear you and be like, okay, you're angry at me right now. And they don't have to agree. They don't have to be like, you're absolutely right, but they just have to have the capacity to see your anger. Now, because of our history, it's quite challenging for us to hear other people's anger, and we easily become defensive. And then anger does not fully meet its purpose. Like it doesn't meet the, okay, there was something that was not okay with me, but the relationship is maintained. It kind of brings up again the experience of I'm not really being heard. There's no real relationship happening when I express my anger. And so that's the dilemma. It's the experience over and over again that when I express my anger, my relationship does not feel safe anymore, okay? And so that's why, in my experience, it takes two people to practice together that when relationship comes up, when anger comes up, we really practice to stay present with it. And so that's something that I do with my partner when it comes up for either of us. We've agreed before that this is a space that we need to practice, right? So when she's angry, I remember, okay, this does not mean that she doesn't want to be with me, blah, 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 blah. I'm able to track what's going on inside of me, and I'm able to meet her anger. It's like, yes, you're angry right now. It might bring up fear in me, and I'm doing my best to like hold the fear, but also acknowledge her anger. And so this is a work that is very subtle, that takes quite some practice. And, you know, if we don't do this, like if we don't experience that anger can be expressed in a safe container, then in my experience, anger will not be fully integrated as like the power of standing up for what I want. It will always have this kind of notion of, yeah, anger is great, but it also destroys relationships. So it's basically what we turn it into is, and I know this so well for myself, it's like, okay, either I stand up for myself, but then I sacrifice my relationships, or I abandon myself so that my relationships can maintain. And so this is the anger dilemma, and I think we're facing it on a very collective dimension, and the only way out is to create containers in which we can access our anger and we stay present with it inside of ourselves as well, stay with the intensity, and experience that we can be in relationship through anger. All right. So let me know if this resonated with you. I'm very curious if people can kind of sense this place of anger, and let me know where you are at in your relationship to anger. How do you express it? Do you have people you can share it with, and so on? All right. So as always, with Evolving Men, you're seen, you're loved, you're appreciated. Keep evolving, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.